Okay, so let's pretend we are starting from scratch. So this is Memorizely's website. I like how it is. So when you scroll, you see this guy here. Let's assume and pretend that this is a Figma prototype and I am the client reaching out to you and I'm showing you my design prototype and I'm asking you, hey, you are a developer. This is something that my designer guy did. This is exactly how he wants it. You know, as I'm scrolling, this image is moving along and it sticks to this point. And when you hover on this card, see what's happening. See these mild interactions. We want that. And what else? This is pretty normal. And look at this section here. All these logos are just, you know, floating at a point, just moving. And you notice how this section is built differently. All of this right up are like this, while this image is clipped to the, you know, edge of the website. And same for here too, same for here, and the rest are just pretty normal stuff. And this section too, notice how it is moving based on scroll. It's not just moving by default. So it's moving based on scroll. So you start thinking in your head and your brain, you start thinking, wahala. This is something you can do. Now, for a section like this, I know it's something I can do, but it's not something I will do immediately. It's not something I will know in my head. I know I can do it. Can it be done? Yes. But I'll need to do some research and, you know, so I probably may not freak out about this for me, because as you scroll, it moves. As you scroll, it moves, which is crazy, right? Maybe not so crazy for some of people. Yeah. And if you notice for here, as you're hovering, you know, something is happening. The background is blending with this background and this and all of that. So yeah, that's it. That's basically it. So this is not something I would do. This is something you guys would do. This is something you guys will do after everything. But it's not, obviously it's not, maybe it's too hard. I don't think it's too hard. Trust me, it's not. Nothing is too hard. It's very straightforward. But I'm more particular about the hero section. I'm not really concerned about every other section. I'm just particular about this animation here. I still don't have it all figured out. If I start building this now, it will make sense as I build. But right now, I can't tell you what I'm going to do right now to achieve this until I start building. So things like this, I know it's possible, but until I start, I probably may not know what to do. So yeah. So Abayomi shared a Figma design yesterday on Grid. So two things. Are we supposed to, because we are done with this Sun District, we are kind of like done with the Sun District, I guess. So we have Sun District here, and we went through all of this from start to finish, the entire stuff. And the blog, maybe tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, Michael will take you guys still on functionalities with the blog. That's attributes, using attributes to, you know, sort out one or two things for blog. Attributes can be used for both blogs and lots of other functionalities that are not blog related. So yeah, like a form, when you submit a form, what happens to the website? Does it reload? After saying thank you, your submission has been received, what happens next? Is it going to reload? Is it going to redirect? You know, all of those small logic. So yeah, so you guys would have to catch up with this landing page, which we are done with yesterday. We had, I think Abayomi built out this section for us, and Ekene did this other type of hero section, because the one we did was this, and we had him do this yesterday. So I'm going to upload, you know, this video, yesterday's session, today. I'll try to upload that today. I'm still trying to, you know, create the thumbnail, because this is the frustrating part about this whole thing. Yeah. So now Abayomi shared us because we were talking about, oops, okay, who raised his hands up? Should ask.
Just wondering, if it's okay, can Michael also cover the last section of the sun district?
Okay, what section is that?
Does that be that the very last one, the dark one with the black background?
Okay, this footer.
Yeah.
Yeah, footer is just footer. I don't think there's any much work here on footer, because what I normally do for footers, I just leverage on Webflow's footer and I just edit it. So it's not something like I don't rate footer that much. I don't regard footer as something that I see as a job or a task. So what I normally do, I just go to layouts here on Webflow and I just type in footer, I think probably, and we have this kind of footer, this type of footer, or this style. So depending on the style we have on our design, but I can always tweak. If I select this one, for instance, oops, it's on the wrong place. So I can always, where is my footer? Where are you? Where did you go to? Okay. Let's say I'm here, for instance, in my body, I go to plus sign, I just maybe click on, maybe search for footer, because there are so many components, Webflow default component that I don't use. But when it comes to footer, I just use footer, Webflow's footer, or I would use any kind of footer from anywhere. I really build footer from scratch. Like, man, I don't. So I'll just come and just select this one. You see, it's here, footer dark. Then I will just tweak it. You see, it's almost looking like this already, because almost all footer are the same, almost all. So I'll just say home, license, social media, and I'll just do home, license, social media. Sure you get, and I'll just change stuff and all of that. So it's not something that I waste my time building from scratch and doing padding global, container large, all those things. I just paste it and edit it and move on. Do you grab?
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. That's what I'll do. Or I'll go to Reloom component and just search for footer, just use and move on. So yeah, still on this guy. What I was saying before now, I was saying, okay, you guys can just update yourself on this. If you can finish this landing page from the first video, with like from the day one till now, after watching the video, definitely you will know how to build this sun district. That one is normal, is 100%, because the entire video has been broken. And if you can build this layout is not that complex, but if you can understand building this, you can almost understand building just any layouts. The kind of problems you'll be facing is just small problems, normal problems that you can just reach out to me and I'll just tell you, okay, do this and do that. You won't have layout problem like that. That's the funny truth. If you really follow up from the day one till now, I can assure you that the kind of issues you'll be facing is not big problems, just small things that you can just, if I just hop on a call with you, you will just solve it. So two things. Now, about me share this other design. We're not going to build everything, but we are looking at how we can deep dive into, what's it called? Grid. Yep, understanding grid. Because imagine they give you a project like this. Imagine this is something you are supposed to do. A client reaches out to you and say, hey, this is our design on Figma. We want to build it out in Webflow. You are the best guy for the job. We trust that you can do this. We've seen your work, blah, 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 all of those big English. And you now see the design, and you are scrolling through and you are seeing layouts like this. In your mind, you are saying, what is going on here? All of this, what's happening here? All this small, tiny text, and you are scrolling and you're seeing stuff like this. You see how this layout is kind of weird. And you are like, in your head, you're like, damn, what's with this small image? What are you doing here? And you are panicking in your mind, but you're not showing that you are panicking. You're just keeping your cool and just chilling. But inside of you, you are like, man, what the hell is this? What is this? How are you? What's happening here? How am I supposed to fit in this text with this collaborate work? I mean, you start insulting the designer. Who designed this thing? God, who's this guy? Why are you frustrating my life? Why are you after my life? All of that. Because I've seen designers and developers fight every now and then. It's chaotic. And this is the footer. And it's saying this.com. Maybe this footer is even moving, all of those animation stuff. And there's a mobile view, and you're like, okay, there's a mobile view with all of this crazy, layout. So yeah, and there's this other section. So he brought out this design for the sole aim of trying to understand grid. So I'm going to leave it out to you guys. What do we tackle today? Do you want to understand, deep dive into grid, maybe creating this section, or do I want to try this? I said I was going to do this on my own, then repeat it during the class, but I did not do it. So what do we want? Do we want to dive, go into grid, or try to see how we can achieve this collectively?
I do. Just a suggestion. It seems there are levels. The sound district we did earlier seems like it's not basic to intermediate. And it seems grid will be the next gradual stuff before we get to interactions, I say.
Okay. Okay, so grid it is, yeah? Great. Okay. Great. All right. Let's do grid. So basically what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to build out services section. See this services section. So one thing you have to have in mind before we start is you have to know this end. You have to know the end from the beginning. You have to know the end from the start, because whatever you do on the desktop view, it needs to make sense. It needs to play out. How will the mobile view look like? You have the mobile view design here. Look at services is on this side. This other content is on this side. But on mobile view, services is at the top and this one is bottom. These two texts are now top and bottom, vertical. They are now the first thing to see on mobile, here and here, before the image. All right. So these are things you have to consider, okay? But on desktop, it is just, horizontal, this with this guy. But the beautiful thing is we don't have this guy in our way. This guy is not on the design. I think so. So we'll not worry too much how it should fit, because what you give me, but we'll probably fix it. We'll probably fix it on the mobile. I don't know how it's going to look like. These are the issue. So this is a design problem. This is a design problem because we have this guy here on desktop, but it is nowhere to be found on mobile. So what do we do? So yeah. So we're just going to go to, where do we go to? We're going to go to, how do I start? Okay, let's start for real. Let me just go back to my dashboard, and this guy keeps updating every now and then. God, you guys should slow down, please. So I need to sign out of these accounts first and to sign in again with this. So yeah, after that, I'm going to open this. No, not this one. Oh, shit. Not that one, not this one. Sorry. So I'm going to go to dashboard. I'm going to open this guy. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use. Well, I'm going to use my Sun District. We're going to have a problem. I cannot add an extra screen, extra page. This is so sad. Oh, okay, I can. Oh, nice one. Michael did some magic. Okay, great. All right, so yeah, this is what I'm going to use. So this is a blank page. We have the page wrapper and the main wrapper. So this is blank. This is blank page. We have the page wrapper and the main wrapper. And we want to build out this service section, not this entire hero section, all right? Because this service section, we're going to use grid. No flex box, grid. So that we understand grid more. I'll explain grid using this. All right, so the first thing we want to notice is this is the section. First, we're going to call it service section. So who can walk me through what we're going to do? First, off your head and offhand, if you can tell me the structure of what I need to do. The first, like this. You can try. No, not by you can try. Let me just see. Or who wants to try? Hannah, see you've unmuted.
That was a mistake. I think the first thing is section hero.
Okay. No, we are talking about section services, so not hero, section service. Yeah. So a div block, and inside of it, we're going to say section. Let me take this out. Section hero, section services. So call it service. Sorry. Section underscore service. Okay. Service is great. What next?
Padding global.
All right, chill. Great. But before that, we need to go target a section here. Very important stats. All right, so she says we're going to get a div block and we're going to say padding global, which is good. Padding global. We have that already because everything has been styled in the style guide. Okay, after that.
Container large.
Okay, create a div block again. And we're going to call it container large. We have that here, container large. Okay, great. What else?
Padding section large.
All right, chill. Padding section large. We're gonna say padding section large. So you see this padding section large has added 7 rem up and down padding. Which as you're doing all of those things, because we have this padding white space thing here, and we also have it here. So padding section large is perfect because you have to look at your design to be able to know if you're going to use this feature or this class or this style or not. So we have a padding top, padding down. So so after padding section large, you will now breathe and say yes. You've done justice to the core structure. That's just it. See how simple it is now. Yeah. So at this point, what next do you think we should do?
Service component.
Great. We'll create another div block and we'll say service component. That's just amazing. That's really cool. Service component. So what that means is we just created a component that is going to handle everything. We just call it service component. Inside of it, the whole magic will happen. Okay, after that, what next?
Service content.
Okay, cool. So after the service component, we're going to put in a div block again and say, okay, aside from the service component, let's not mess with the service component. Let it just be a wrapper. Let's put in service content. Still inside of this service component, service content, that's where everything is going to, be under. Okay. Do you have an idea of what to do next?
The heading.
All right. Cool. The heading. That's really cool. So how I'm going to approach this, I'm going to look at this as 2 different elements. I'm going to look at the heading, not just this service, both these services and this experience and this project finish. All of these are one item. Then I love how this guy did the design, because from the design itself, I love how he named everything. Content inside of this frame. In fact, how it is here, everything is inside a frame. That's how I'll see it too. All of this, I'm seeing it as one item, just top item. And another one, this other part too, everything down, all of it as another one item. Everything is inside div block. So I'm going to say, okay, at this point, I want to bring in a div block that is going to handle these top parts. And I'm going to call it service heading wrapper. Whatever you want to call it. But you can probably say service top. Yep. Let's say service top. Service is top. If you have any question at any point, please draw my attention. All right. So inside of service content, we are now going to do a div block again. And inside of it, I will now say, let's talk about the top part. services top wrapper. Okay, now we've done services top wrapper. All right. Now what is inside there? What is inside there is this and this, these two guys, H1 and all of this. So yep, let's do that. Let's bring in a heading, this heading, and we're going to call it services. Oops, how are they spelling this thing again? All right, services like this. See? Now we've solved these parts. Ooh, you now say nice one. You've done well for yourself. You've done this first part. Now let's go to the other part. Now, what is going to separate the first part from this part? You know, they are spaced. They are spaced here and here. So how are we going to do that? You're going to tell this service top wrapper. We're going to tell it to, this is the parent. We're going to say, I want you to space your children far apart. Far apart. So I think we'll use display flexbox. I mean, you can't help it. You just have to use display flexbox, you know. That's the only way we can do that. That's not the only way, but that's how I would do that. Justify space between. You see? Boom. Nothing's going to happen. All right. Ask.
So I thought like we're going to bring in another div block to put in the the one on the right.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely we're going to do that. We're going to do that.
So you do the justification and everything before you bring it.
Yeah, sure, why not? As long as you know what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Anything I bring inside of this div block will definitely stay here because you've ordered the parent to justify space between. So either you style it first and bring in the elements, or you bring in the elements and style it. It's the same thing. Do you get? So we've done the H1. Now I'm going to now bring in a div block, because if you notice inside of, to be able to get these two items together, it needs to be in a frame. So you can now put them side by side. So a div block is going to handle this and this. So yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I've brought in a div block. You see, automatically it went here by default, not by default, because you told the parent, I want you to be horizontally flexed, spaced between. That's why this div block is here. Now you're going to call this guy based on what we have here. We will call it service statistics. Yeah.
Service right.
Service right. Yep. Okay. Maybe maybe service right or statistics wrapper, because this is like a statistics something, you know, numbers. So I'll just call it statistics. Statistics. Oh, man, all these spellings. Statistics wrapper. So it's going to wrap our statistics for us, which is those numbers. Now, inside of the wrapper, I'm going to put in, maybe this is a H3. Let's say this is H3 and a H3. All right. Now, I'm going to put in a div block again. Inside of this statistics wrapper, I'm going to put in a div block again, because I'm treating this one as another element having its own div block. See? Inside of it, we now have this guy and this guy, because that's the only way we can combine these two together to be in the same place. So if you noticed on this design as well, you will see we have a div block handling the two of them. As you can see that blue line, we also have a div block that is handling the first part and a div block handling the second part. So always see your designs. In fact, how to break designs in your head. Break it by using div block. Life is easier because design is just bunch of boxes. Div block, you know, arranging layouts. It's just with div block, you can style anything. You can achieve any layout. So before you think it's complicated, break it down into div blocks and say, okay, this one is just in a div block. In a div block, the parent is the one wrapping everybody together. See, that's how you think. And yeah, so I'm going to do that. So inside of this statistical wrapper, statistics wrapper, I'm going to put in a div block. Now, I want this statistics wrapper to wrap its children, which is this guy and this guy. They should be horizontal to each other. So two things you can do. Either you do it from the start or you do it at the end. I can tell this statistical wrapper to display flex right now, horizontal, and space between also. Yep. After doing that, you will now put in your first div block, and we can now call this first div block first start, not first start. You can say experience start and project start, something like that, just so it makes sense. But whatever you are comfortable with. So I will now say let's just say first start first. I mean, it's the first statistics. First start, it's not bad. First start, inside of the first start, I'm gonna put in a heading. That's like it's an H2, H3. Let's assume it's a H3. Yeah, H3. And I'm going to put in a text block that is going to carry experience. So inside of it again, I'm going to bring in a text block, not paragraph. Don't bring in a paragraph. Paragraph is for plenty text. This is just a single line text. So a text block. See, I'm going to paste in experience inside. So inside of first start, we have heading and experience stacked vertically. Right, but it is stacked vertically, but still on still. There is this reasonable amount of spacing in between. Let's say 16 pixels. From experience to this number is like 16 pixels. All right. So how do we create that spacing? Is by going to the parent, which is first start, and make it display, but this time around vertical, and the space in between is 1 rem. So you see, we now have this, reasonable amount of space, and I'm going to say 13 plus. All right. So, yep, first is done. First start is done. So what do? I'm just going to duplicate first start into 2. So I don't have to build the second one again from scratch. So Ctrl C, Ctrl V, we now have 2 of that. First start. But I'll probably call this one second start. See? I'll probably not call it first start in the first place. I'll just rename it to stats wrapper. All right, so both of them are now stats wrapper. Because if you say first start, that means you're talking about the first. And I don't want to create another one or copy and paste and now call it second. They are basically the same thing, the same style. Why give it a unique name where you can just give it a generic name? So that now we have stats wrapper. Stats wrapper means stats wrapper, start wrapper. If they had different styling, then I might want to stick with first start, second start, so I can style them differently. But right now, anything I do to this first start affects both of them. See? Because they have the same class name. And that's what I want. Because from our design, they have just one style of design, so just use the same class name. So yeah. So we have start wrapper. Now they are too close to each other. All right. So I'm going to go to this statistics. Oh, the names are looking the same. Oh, yeah, you get the point. So I'm going to go to their head, the parent, and I'm going to tell the parent. Oops, I already told the parent to be flexed, flex box, horizontal, space between, but they are still close to each other. So I'll just give it a gap of 1 rem. Let's check if 1 rem is enough. It should be more than 1 rem, maybe 2 rem, or 3 rem. Yep, maybe something like this. And the second one is having 348 project finished. 348 project finished. Projects. Are they all caps? I think they're all caps. Yep, all caps. Now, I can either delete it and type in capital letter, or I can just use there's a style, there is a class name in my style guide that handles text, changing text to capital letters. It is called text style. See, text style all caps. Text style all caps changes a particular text to capital letter. So I can either type it in capital or do almost all the class names are in my head. Text style all caps, and boom, it's the job of this text style all caps is to just do this, to capitalize later. What you should do, I see most developers, Webflow developers do this. Don't add an extra styling to this text style all caps. Don't go and say okay, maybe something weird like what do I do to maybe changing the color or something, maybe red. This is wrong. This is not good. You are abusing the reason for that class. Text style all caps, the job is just to do one thing and one thing only, is to change whatever to capital letter. Don't for any reason add an extra styling to this text style all cap, like trying to do alignments like this or trying to add something else. Don't do that. Please don't. Or trying to add a strike through to your text on top of text style all caps. Don't do that. It's very wrong. Because if you do it like this, it affects every class with that name. It spoils everything for you. So don't. Any question at this point?
Sometimes I know some things what you do is you change the styling, like say a button, like you change the styling from the client first one to the style for your project. But then things like that's like all caps, you don't touch it from what client first has already said. I understand that, but sometimes they have container, small container, medium container, large. Say on my project it's like 58 grams, whereas on the client first a small container small is 48. Is it okay to change my container small to 58 and have it like that for the whole project?
Yep. If you are, for instance, container large, if your project is, if the only thing, now this container large, the only time I can touch it, the only time I can style it is when I want to change that purpose of it being. Let's say I want to make this maximum width, because the job of container large is to set a maximum width of 75 frame, nothing else, and a width of 100%. That is the only time I am, what's the word? The only time I can do something on container large is when I want to alter the maximum width to maybe 50 rem. You see, 50 rem has shrunk my everything to like this. So this is 50 rem. You see, if this is how the design is, if the container large on your design or the spacing, on your design is, or the maximum width for your design is 50 rem, container large, by all means change it to 50 rem. If it is 60 rem, by all means use 60 rem. This is the only time you are free to change it, because obviously you have to, based on what the design is saying, you have to alter the container large, or you may not want to use container large, you may want to use container medium or container small. But I always use container large at all points, and for my starting, I always use container large, and maybe there is a section that is not as large as container large, is maybe smaller, the width, then I'll probably utilize container medium or container small, so it pads it, smaller. So for the most part, I have never had a use case where I use container small. I always use container large. If I have an instance where I need to create a much more smaller container, I'll just style it my way, basically.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Just forge ahead. So we have this. Inside of that, we have these two guys, and we have this, and I think we are off to a great start. So this is what we have. Looking good. looking good. Now we want to draw a line. We want to draw this line before we go to this other part. So let's go get our line straight. So now to add a line, it's quite simple. Even when you go to if you go to your tab view, it's looking good. You know, this view is looking good, even down to your, unless the text mobile view is where you now have problem. But this view is looking good, you know, because you have a solid structure. See, everything is looking good. But all you need to do is just one simple thing, and this will be perfect on mobile. And I should talk about it now. Let's not wait. So when you go to like this, now, based on what we have on our design here, we have service at the top and these two below. It's very simple. Just going to go here. You go to the parent that is housing everything, just this, you know, service and this guy. And the display is calling from the desktop. This is the base breakpoint. So whatever you do here cascades down to everybody. So, but whatever you do here cascades down to just these guys. It doesn't affect the desktop. Whatever you do here only affects this smaller mobile. It doesn't affect tablets. So I'm going to go here to my mobile landscape, and this is where I want to change the style from. Now I'll now go to service top wrapper. Service top wrapper is in charge of the heading and the statistics wrapper. So I'll go there and I'll say, I don't want you to be horizontal anymore. I want you to be vertical. Boom, vertical. Service at the top, these two guys below. Now I'll go and check my design. Is that how it's supposed to be? Yes and no. We have service at the top and these two guys below, but these two guys are close to themselves. They are not like far apart as we have on our design here. It's very simple. What I need to do, I will now go to my statistical wrapper and say, okay, guys, I don't want you guys to be far apart anymore. I want you guys to justify from the start. So vertical is good, but because I want this guy to come close to this guy, I will just say from the start, boom. But we have a reasonable amount of spacing here because of the gap of 3 rem. So you see, now if I need to add, now our service is very close to this guy. I will just have to go to the service content again, to the service content. Sorry, not service content, service top wrapper again. And I'll say, nice, you are stacked vertically, but please create some space for yourself. You guys are too close to each other. I will go to the row and I'll say, maybe 2 rem worth of space, maybe 1 rem worth of space, and boom. And it's looking perfect across every screen, even on the smallest breakpoint. The normal average screen size is 360, so it's perfect on 360, perfect on 375. This is like iPhone's view, and perfect on every other screen. See? And this is responsive design. Question? Nope. Good. No question. That's great. That's good to know. All right, Femi, shoot.
Just to comment, Dave, I can see the consistency and you're using right after the client first, both in the district one and in this. It seems like you have your own little Dave's first framework right after that you just flex with. And looking at that closely, it's helped me to understand how to look at the individual layouts, regardless of the design.
Yeah.
So that's helpful.
Yeah. Client first for me, I don't rely on client first for everything. It just helps me with the basics. You understand? Once I set up the basics, the foundation, I use my own experience and my own knowledge and my thought process. The thought process is different for everybody, while still obeying client first, what they say you should do. Like, you can't catch me, messing up padding section large. The only time you see me styling padding section large is if I want to change what it should do. You can't see me adding a width or setting it, adding on style to, you know, I have to obey, you know, the client first thing, and, you know, yeah, but I also use my own experience and my own knowledge and my own logic. So the logic can be different for different people. Another developer might build this in a different light, in a different way, you know. So but then we just get the same results. That's what is important. So now let's go draw a line. Let's go do that immediately. So we have this guy. So how do we draw a line? Inside of service components, we have the service content. Inside of service content, we have service top. So service top is done. So you go to your service content and you see service top is done. Now I want to draw a line. I'll go to the service content and bring in a div block, and I'm going to say service line, or whatever name you want to call it, service line. And I'm just going to, you know, if you study here, this line is just 1 pixel. Yeah, basically 1 pixel of height. So I'm going to set my height here to 1 pixel. Here, one pixel. And I'm going to give it a black color, background color, black. And boom, that's it. Very, very simple. No stress. But then there's a reasonable amount of space between the service top and the line. So I'm just going to do that by adding, that's how I'm going to do it. I'll just add margin top. Say, yo, create some margin, create some space, maybe 2 rem, boom. And that part is done. As easy as ABC. Now, what do we do next is we want to go to this part. We're going to use grid here. 100% grid. Not. So yeah, let's do this part. We're going to call it, service bottom. So inside of the service contents, I bring in a div block, and I'm going to call it service bottom wrapper. Yep, service bottom. But now the service bottom wrapper is now close to my line. So I'll now go back to the line and say, hey, line, please give yourself margin bottom. So this guy shouldn't touch you. So I'll do that on the line. So I'll go to the line and add maybe 2 rem bottom. So you see, so we have, it pushes this guy down, maybe 3 rem. Yeah, 3 rem is fair. So yep, this is where we start building our service bottom wrapper. So we are here. Now we have this left side and this right side. Now I'm thinking there are several ways to go about this. I may want to use a grid and say first cell, this is going to be the first cell. I'm going to do a 3 row, this 3 row, first cell, second cell, and third cell. But that will probably be complicated. Let's just do the normal stuff. So I'm inside of here now. I am going to set you to grid. I'm going to set you to grid. See, I click on grid. Service bottom wrapper is now set to grid. See, now if you look at what's happening, you would see we have grid items or cells. We have this, we have this. You know, this is a 2x2 grid. But if you study your design closely, we only have like this and like this. We don't need these down parts. We don't need these down parts. I just need this first cell and this second cell. So I'm going to go to my edit grid and I'm going to go to the row and delete from here. Boom. The down part, we don't need you. So it's a 2 columns by 1 row grid. 2 columns, just 1, 2. That's what I want. So inside of this first, so anything, because I set this guy to grid, anything I put inside will automatically stay in the first grid. Whatever element I put inside will automatically stay in the first grid. So I bring in a div block. Boom, the div block is on the first grid, on the first cell. Let's go to cell. Now, this is the first cell. Inside of it, we have an image and we have this petty text. So we are on the first cell. So I'm going to call this div block. Let me open it. This div block is going to be first cell. Let's just say first cell. First cell, right? First cell. Inside of the first cell, we have an image, right? So because I'm using a div block, this image is still going to be on this first side. But one thing that might be confusing, let me delete this image. Let me even delete this first cell. Nope, let me not delete it. Now, I have a first cell here. If I go back to my service bottom and bring in an image, for instance, that image is going to go to the second cell. And you'll now be confused. Why is it not staying inside of the first cell? Because your, settings or the navigation is wrong. We have the service bottom wrapper. We have the first cell. This first cell is a div block on the first, grid. Anything you bring again will definitely go to the second cell. But what you want to do to have this image on this first cell, you have to take the image inside of the first cell div block. That's the only way you can contain stuff still on the first cell using a div block. So you can now add anything. Whatever I keep adding in this first cell will always stay in this first cell div block. Let's say I want to add a text block. The text block will still be inside the first cell div block. Let's say I want to add a button. The button is still inside the first cell div block. Questions? All right, cool. So now we have this image there. Let me just quickly download this image. I'll go to export and I'll just quickly get this and I'll just bring it here and bring it here and drag this into here. And we have that image. That's done.
Did you share that with us somewhere, or is that a possibility?
The design?
Yeah, just so I can do the image I'm working on at the same time.
Yeah, the design is on the WhatsApp group.
Amazing. Sorry,
yeah,
thank you.
It's on the WhatsApp group. So if you just scroll up a bit, let me just point it from this one. So I see this one. So you see there.
I got it, thank you.
All right, great. All right, cool. So we have that. You can always, like I say, for as long as you bring in an image, you can always size it from this node. So this tiny node, you can always drag, make it big, make it very small, make it very big, make it very small. I don't try to mess with width and height, all of that stuff when it's not necessary. I just do this, or I'll come here and check the size and I'll be like, okay, the size here is 494. So as I'm dragging, I'm looking at the numbers. Maybe I want to stop at 494, or it's too big. Just leave it like 350. So this is okay. Now that is that. We've done that part for the image. Let me take out all of this button and stuff. It's not needed. All right, let's assume we are done with the first cell. We want to fill up the second cell. I'll go back to the service bottom wrapper. That is a grid. That's where I'll go back to. And I will go back there and I'm going to go back to my design and I'll say, okay, inside of my second cell, I want to have something like this, text, and this guy here. So I'll go back in and I'll bring in a div block that's going to handle the second cell. And I'm just going to call it second cell. Yeah. Oops, spelled rubbish. Second cell. This is the second cell. Good. And I'm going to think, okay, this second cell is also going to be a grid. This grid will have a 2x2. It's going to be a 2x2 grid. So yes, you can put a grid inside a grid. So yep, let's make it a grid. So the second cell, I'm going to click on this guy. See, let's make it a grid again. So you see, we now have a smaller grid. So we have this, a 2 by 2. But what do I really want? Do I want a 2 by 2? Yes, I want a 2 by 2 because we have this, an imaginary empty space, and this. So we have 4 items. First, second, empty space, and this. So yep, we want that. So inside of our grid, so this is perfect. 2 by 2 is perfect. So we want to fill up the first of the second. So inside of the second cell, we're going to bring in a div block. That div block will automatically position in this first cell again. So we have another first cell. So what do we now call it? Do we now call it first cell again? Nope. You can just choose any fancy name of your choice. You can just say first of the first of the second. No, don't do that. Just say smaller cell. Nah, just find something creative, you know. I'm not really good with creative stuff, creative thinking. So we can just say okay, good, this is what we'll do. Because of this is service bottom wrapper, we're gonna say because of this is a second cell. I'm not confusing myself. We are on second cell, we have a div block, we're gonna call this div block second cell first. Still confusing. So we're going to call it second cell underscore first. Trust me, this is like the best way. This is the best way I know how to name it. Second cell, because we are on the second part, but then first. Yep, that makes sense to me. Second cell first. All right. Let's do that. Second cell first. Now, inside of this second cell first, we now have a paragraph inside, which is a text paragraph. So I'll come here and I'll copy this guy. That is all caps. It's all caps. And I'll just come here and say, hey, bro, you are all caps. Maybe I'll turn on my all caps and see if that would work. Oops, it didn't work. You know, it didn't work. I'll just say, okay, let's style it to be text style all caps. Boom. It's all caps, which is cool. I like it. Now we are on the second cell first, right? So I'm going to bring in another div block inside of second cell. Okay, let's call this one second cell wrapper. Let's not just say second cell because it's wrapping everything on the second cell, right? Now we have second cell first. I'm going to put in another div block. That div block is automatically going to position itself here. And we're going to call this guy second cell second. I mean, you can do better with namings, but second cell, yeah, just, you know, it helps you know that, oh, okay, this is the second cell and this is the second in the second. Second cell second, and we're going to put in another text. Just copy this one and just paste it here. See? Pasted. Well done. Like, well done. Second text pasted. So let's just copy the actual text from here. I'm just going to paste it here. Paste. Done. Now we have filled in the first cell, the second cell. Now let's go and tackle this third cell. Now I'm going to still go back to the wrapper and bring in a div block. Once I bring in the div block, it's going to automatically position in this third cell. See how grid works? Grid works with, you know, the arrangement of the amount of cells inside. So first one is done, second one, the third one. And we're going to call this guy second cell third. Funny enough. Oh, second cell third in this case. Now what do we put inside? Nothing. Just leave it blank. There's nothing inside. Right? Don't stress it. Now let's assume there's something inside, but then there's nothing inside. So let's go back to the second cell wrapper, bring in a div block. It's going to position itself in the fourth cell. See? Very simple. And what do we call it? Second cell fourth. See? And what is inside? We have, let's just assume we have just this image inside. Let me rush to download the image, and the image has been downloaded. And I'm going to go to my Webflow and say, okay, inside of this font, we have an image inside of it. And I'm just going to choose the small, tiny image, put it here, and boom, we have that. So if I try to preview, this is what we have. See? Looking good. So here is empty. So if I go to tablet view, looking good. But trust me, it's going to be messed up on the mobile view. Oh, not so bad. Still looking good. Boom, boom, boom. Empty space and this. But it's going to be messed up here. Oh, look how our image is very small. But I don't need to do too much to make it responsive, because you have done a very good job. There's a kind of job you do. You'll be very confident to know that now making it responsive is not a big deal, because you've done a very good job. Making something responsive is the least of my worries when I'm working, but there are some layouts that will mess you up. There are some layouts that you would sweat. When you even think about the responsivity, you'll be like, damn, this is crazy. So yeah, I've also been there, crazy stuff. So yep, and what else is remaining? Let's assume that we're done with that. See? So let's try to make it responsive. So this is how it is on mobile, right? We have this first, then this, and this image. Just gonna go here and say, okay, on tablets, we like you like this. This is perfect. On tablets, it can be like this. But from here, we don't want you like this. We want you to have the text come first. The text should come first. So now what do we do? I don't know. Okay. So we're going to go to service bottom wrapper. This service bottom wrapper is housing the first cell, which is the image, and the second cell wrapper. So now let's call this first cell wrapper. Let's not just say first cell. So it makes more sense. And it's, so service bottom is housing first cell wrapper, second cell wrapper. First cell wrapper is the image. Second cell wrapper is the parts with the text and the image. Now we are on the parent, and we are going to give the parent a command. We're going to say, hey, parent of these two, we know you are set to grid. We respect that. But we don't want you to be like this because it's too clustered. We know you are set to grid. We respect that. But please make changes to your grid. And we want this second part, that is the text. We want it to come first. Please. Service bottom wrapper would say, okay, good. So goes to its properties, which is the grid, edit grid. And it's going to do one thing. It's going to delete a column. Because of how the column is set, we have column, it's all column. It's going to take off one column. And whenever you take off a column, something is going to happen. It's going to align itself vertically. Let me explain that. Right now, it has a 2 column by 1 row. Right now, it has a 2 column, which is 1, 2. That is why it is stacked vertically like this. But now we want to take away 1 column so that it's going to be 1 column, 1 row. So it's going to stack vertically. So I'm going to go to edit grid and I'm going to just delete. I'm deleting a column. Has nothing to do with the elements that's inside. It's just helping you, because this whole line and blue is just a guideline that, okay, this is how it is. This is how it is. Once you delete a column here, it just messes with the layout. Your elements are still there. So I'm going to take out remove. So I click on remove. This is what's going to happen. You see, we now have image at the top, the first item at the top, and the text part, which is the second. Now we have the first cell wrapper at the top, which is the image, and the second cell wrapper, which is the write-ups and all of that. But then we are just one step done. The design is saying text should come first, image should come second. But we are saying image is first, then the whole text part is second. That's not what the design is saying. So how do we solve this problem? I am not going to mess with these guys, the children. The children are safe. Don't touch the children. I'll still go back to the parents and give another command. And I would say, I know you've done well by placing it vertically, by deleting one column. Nice one, you've done well. But please, we want this second guy to come first. That's what we want. Now, somebody might say, why not just drag this second cell wrapper to be the first in arrangement? That will solve the problem. Let's try that. So I'm going to drag second cell wrapper up. Whoa, problem solved. We have this here and the image down. Maybe problem solved, but that's going to mess up your desktop view as well. It's going to also make the text part come first, which is crazy. That's not what you want. So doing that is a no-no. Don't do that. Don't drag it. Leave it as it is. Leave the children aside. Just leave the children out of it. Mess with the parent. You're giving the parent the order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, I'm on the parent. I'm going to go to all of these settings and find for what can be helpful. Nothing is helpful. Oh, that's so sad, because there's nothing that can make this second guy be the first. Now there's a way I can make this second cell be the first. I'm going to click on the children now, because I looked at the parents, no any styling that can help me switch the second guy to the first without messing with the desktop view. So I'm going to go to the children and I'll tell this first cell, please, can you style yourself to be the second cell just on mobile? Can you do that? Yup, it can. Now the first cell is this image. Now I'm on the first cell div block, right? Cell first cell wrapper, and there is an order here that says first and last. First and last. It's either I click on first cell and make it, right now, first cell is the first element. It's either I say be the last. If I say be the last, it goes down. Boom. See? On the arrangement side, first cell is still number 1, but I set it to be the last. So it takes what is below to the top, takes itself below. That's what's happening just on desktop. It's not going to affect your tablet. It's not going to affect your desktop. On desktop, it is still here as the first. On tablet, it is still well seated here. But on this mobile view, you now have the first cell as the last. And we have the second cell as the first. Let's check our design. Boom. That's what we have. But we have a reasonable amount of spacing in between. I'll just go back and now go to the parent and say, okay, we were able to sort your children to switch themselves. However, I want you to create a row gap of 3 rems. Let's say 3 rems. Now I've added 3 rem spacing. So you see, there's a reasonable amount of space here. 3 rem, which is good. See, now we have all of this at the top, the image below, which I think is good. But now the image is spanning all through the first to the edge to edge, edge to edge. Now what do we do as regards that? I'm going to say, okay, this image, which is the first cell wrapper, I want your child, which is the image, to stretch. Click on stretch. Nothing happens. Nice. Nothing happens. So that's not going to work. I'm going to go to the image itself. So because the first cell wrapper cannot solve the problem, I go to the image and say, hey, image, please stretch yourself. Just cover the entire, cover everywhere. What to do? I'm going to make the width 100%. 100%. So take 100% of your parent, or 100%, and boom, it has go from start to finish 100%. And I'm just going to call it service, maybe service image or whatever, it doesn't really matter. So you see, we now have this, and that is how you do that. So it's looking good. Even on the smallest screen, it's going to look amazing. We still have one last problem. Now, this is top and bottom. On the smallest screen, top and bottom. The two paragraphs are vertically stacked, but mine is still horizontally stacked. On this tab, on this mobile, is good. I like it like this, how it is here. But on this small screen, I want it to be vertically stacked. So I'll go to my small screen, the smallest screen. I'll go there and say, okay, what is wrapping all of that? So I'll click on the second cell wrapper, which is now the first by what we've done. I will go there and we have the whole cell 1, 2, 3, 4. And what do? I'm going to say second cell wrapper. I know you are set to grid, but I want you to take away one column so that everybody be stacked vertically, just as we did earlier. So I'll go take out one column. Boom! And everybody is stacked vertically. This text, this one, that empty space, remember that empty space, then this image. But this empty space is not really doing anything. It's not really doing anything. It shouldn't just be here because it's going to spoil our layout or not. Ooh, looking good. So we have first text, second text, and image. Because that guy is an empty space, this image is going to override it because an empty space, there's nothing there. So it looks perfect. So who has a question to shoot?
Yeah, not really a question, but for the empty space, if we really don't want the first side of the grid to have a content but the latter part, we can use the grid area. So in this case, like instead of making it 1, 2, it should be a kind of 2, 2. So like if you click on edit the grid parent,
yeah,
maybe you can go on the
yeah, or you can as well just drag this, maybe something like this. No. Okay, so if you click on the grid,
yeah, like if you click on the edit grid and then you click on the grid element that you want to edit. Yes, that should be. Just go to the video. I don't know if
I mean, is this one first?
Yeah, like if you click on the edit grid and then you click on the image.
Edit grid and image.
Yes.
I don't think it's clickable.
That's more plus on the top.
Okay, this one. Yeah.
No, the plus on the other side.
Okay, this one here. Okay. No, not this one. Is it this one?
I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I think okay. This is the area. This area here. This plus.
Yes. The area then yeah, you can decide.
Okay.
Yeah. Place it whether in the first or
okay. Yeah. True. But it's not allowing me to edit. Yeah, I did something one time about this area. Yeah, it's true. But I rarely use area though. Funny enough, this area will work if we have. Let's see.
For complex.
Yeah, I think if the grid is very complex. If the grid is complex, okay, yeah, this can be. Yeah, if the grid is complex, then this area come in play. I think I've used this area thingy before. I think I have. But for now, there is no need to do that for the course of this one. Yep. There's no need to do that. So we have this. And on the smaller screen, we have this empty space and this. But this empty space will not show up when we preview because it's an empty space. So we now have all of this stacked like this. with the image. So everything is looking very highly responsive using a grid. See, that's how you use a grid. So it's just brain work, and it's just, I treat all these things like giving it a command. I talk to it. If I talk to it, I give the order. I talk to it means I understand the action I want to take. So I talk to it, I give it the order, and I just execute. If it's not going to work with the parents, okay, let me see, can the child make that impossible? Stuff like that. So yep, so this is how you build that. This is how you build that. See, very responsive, very solid. Very, very solid. It's just floating like a water. Even on smaller screen. Even on the smallest of screens. So yeah, that's basically it. That has been solved. That's Grid for you. Grid, I use Grid a lot. If I use Grid most of the time, because Grid can do complex stuff. Grid, if the layout is complex, Flexbox may not, be this Flexbox may not be this, flexible. But with Grid, you can build any kind of complex layouts that has things, stack. There's a website you see and you'll be like, damn. But yeah, with Grid, I think you can almost do anything. Flexbox is good too, but yeah. So I think this is where we're going to stop. I want you guys to go do your own too as well, please. Shina, were you able to follow up until this point?
Yeah, I'm just I'm always like a tiny step behind you, so I'm just fixing mine up. Yes, but yeah, really good. Thank you.
All right, great. Something you can solve. You can get up to speed tonight. Is this something you can finish today? Like something you can finish before tomorrow?
Sorry, are you asking me?
Yeah.
If I can finish this tonight, no, I have it almost finished. I didn't have I'm just putting in the font style now because I skipped that part. But yeah, no, I followed along.
All right, great. Anna, what's up? How about you? Can you get this up? Anna? Don't tell me you're sleeping.
I'm good, but I'm still going to watch it over again. So
yeah. Mo, I have 3 videos to update. The last one, yesterday's own, and now this one. I hate this. Is what I was trying to avoid. I hate that it's going to pile up. I hate it. But yeah, that's it. So this is the live link, and on mobile, this is how it is on mobile. Activate. Oops, mobile is not activating. It's crazy. Okay. This is how it is on mobile. See? Okay, good. And that's where we're going to draw the line for today. So hopefully by tomorrow, everyone has this layout thing, using Grid going on. So yeah, that's it. Let's not do too much. So Emeka, you think this can be, you can obviously manipulate this, I guess.
Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah, please do. Give it a try. Femi, how about you? Femi, are you there? Don't tell me you're sleeping.
Apologies, Dave. No, I'm with you.
All right. Can you give that a shot?
No, absolutely. I follow this. No disappointment as usual. We'll go back and revisit the videos.
All right.
That's great. Thank you.
All right. Cool. So what I'm going tomorrow is Saturday. I'll try and speak with Michael if he can round up on functionalities. Then he'll handle tomorrow's session. Tomorrow is the weekend. I don't know if you guys will be available tomorrow. So yeah. So yup. And what else? Tomorrow, then by Monday, if you guys are up to speed, up to that point, we can talk interaction. But before then, I'm going to build it out myself so that I will not come and embarrass myself in class. So yes, I'm going to try to build it out myself personally. And if I don't build it out, I'll just tell you guys, we're not doing it. But I'm sure I'll figure something out. So yeah, I will, but probably may not use, maybe, I don't know, probably may not use exactly the content. I'll just, you know, I just want to get this interaction thingy going on here. So yeah, that's it.
Nick,
Yep.
just a quick comment. Thanks. It's so much value. It's massive value. Too much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I want to second that. I'm finding it so helpful, and the pace that you go at and just using your own language just to explain it. I really enjoy it. Like, I don't, sometimes I watch videos and I have to revisit them a few times or rewind, but I don't find that with this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad you were able to understand my jargons and use of language. It's crazy. All right, no problem. So we'll just stop here. So I'll just urge you guys to maybe try this that has been done. Just try it. Try this using grid, because if you understand, I'm trying to make sure you guys understand layouts, so that when you see a design, any layout, so when you see easy layouts, you just be laughing and be like, oh, this is a piece of cake. You know, if you can do complex layout, this is not even complex at all. Or if you can, you know, tweak layouts like this, when you see the one that is just side by side, you know, something like this, you won't see any reason to worry. This is just side by side, you know, very easy layouts, and all of that. Because websites is about layouts. Every website you see out there is just how you would tackle it based on layout. You know, all these are just layouts. You see, this is grid. This now, I'll definitely use grid here. See, I'll use a 1, 2, 3, 4. I think a 4x2 grid, maybe 2x4 grid, something like that. See, so this is also a layout. Left hand side image is right hand side. This is one big image. Maybe not image, but yeah. So the same thing, layouts. It's just layouts and layouts and layouts. So this is also a grid. See, something like this, a grid. Then a div block. All of this are inside a div block. All of this inside a div block, and so on and so forth. You know, if you check this on mobile, and this is how it is on mobile. See, mobile is just pretty straightforward. That animation or interaction is not even there. You see, because mobile view is always the simplified version of your website. So you don't want to cloud your mobile view with interactions and animations. So it should be easy. No need for lots of animation at all. So that is one way to create user experience, you know, just straight to the point. Because it's a mobile view, you want it to be fast. So you see all of those things. So mobile is just vertical. In fact, the idea behind mobile view, everything stacked vertical. That's just it. See, vertically stacked, vertical. All of these are vertically stacked. You see, all of this grid stuff is now vertical. See, vertical, vertically stacked, everything vertical, aside from this one, which is still like that. So everything, this one too is still like this, still like that. See, this one too is, you know, like this. All those testimonials vertically stacked. And that's it. See, this guy is still like this based on scroll, which is something I would like to try. I've done it before, but yeah, let's give it a shot. So vertically stacked, and boom, that's it. That's it, guys. So that's all for today. We will talk via the WhatsApp group, and I'll try to upload the video on the channel by tomorrow, hopefully. Today, I'll try to upload yesterday's own today, and I'll upload today's own tomorrow, God's willing. See you guys next time, tomorrow.